Hey, what's going on, guys? It's White Gaming. Welcome back. How are you all doing? So we are back again today with some more Grounded. And what we're doing today is going over the Scab Scheme locations. Now, Scab Schemes are basically cosmetic. They don't really do anything. They just make your scab look pretty and change the appearance of your map and things like that, which is really quite cool. It makes things look really funky. So obviously here you've got your day modes, and you can switch all of these up to make it look wicked, and same with the night mode, and it just basically changes the look of that little icon in the bottom left hand corner, and well, basically your HUD, which is really quite cool. And there are a few of these. There's around about 30, but I haven't been able to get a definite answer of how many there are. So if I have missed any, please let me know in the comments and I will get on that. And as they add them, because they keep adding them with updates, I will catch up with them. And yeah, hopefully next week we will have some more grounded material. We're going to have hopefully some news on the update, which would be quite nice. But for now, let's get into it and find some of these scab schemes, shall we? Next up is on your funky ass laser beam, and it is the one just here, towards the north end of the garden. And the way you get up onto this laser beam is there's a giant tree next to it. You'll know which one it is. It's kind of dead and you can't actually destroy it. That is the one you need to be climbing up. What you need to do is shimmy your way up the leaves. Now it is quite difficult, so take your time. Make sure you save it quite frequently, because obviously if you fall down it's annoying and you've got to go all the way back up. And then the scab is just on the bolt there. That is Greystone. Let's go get the next one. So for this one we are back at the Anthill, which is located just here. And what you're going to do is get your torch out. You don't actually have to fight any of these ants, you can just run past them. And just follow it round. Stick to the right hand side. And just keep sticking. There'll be a few bits where it sort of veers off to the right, but just follow the right hand wall and this will lead you right to where you want to be. So keep going. And you come to a dead end. So just cross over. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then we have the Neomave Scab Scheme. So this one is just behind the laser beam, and just there. And it's the one where you come right at the start of the game to kill all the mites and then head into the cave. Now if you're like me, at the start of the game I didn't actually have the hammer, so I didn't go through the back bit where the quartzite is. I think that's how you say it. Quartzite, yeah. But you follow it around, just follow the cave all the way down, and then you'll come to a wall like that. Turn around, and it is just there. There is Mite Rider. So for this next one, we are just underneath the rake. It's pretty simple, but it's guarded by some big old boys. So just watch yourself with that one. Make sure you've got a spear and a torch on you. Well, you don't really need the torch because you can pretty much see what you're doing because of the slime mold. Just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And you will come to the water there. Jump in the water, and it is just in the back corner. That is Syndrome Scab Scheme. So for this next one, we are on top of the giant rock. And you can get up here by using the rake. I'll just show you again quickly where it is. It's just in the bottom left-hand corner of the garden, just by the gas zone. And you can climb up here using the rake handle if you want, or you can just run up the sides. It's a bit more of a dangerous approach running up the sides though, because you've got a lot of the bombardier beetles there. And it is just on top, and there it is, the Flying V Scab Scheme. Paint bucket, which is just at the back of the garden there. And if you come down by the handle at the back, you will see it just there. The Laser Corp Scab Scheme. So the next one is just here. It's nice and simple. come to the back of the garden where the, well, I'd say the front of the garden where the decking is, and all the way to the left-hand side, pretty much underneath the pumpkin that's there at the moment, and then go straight in with all these mushrooms and the big mushroom right at the back right-hand side corner, and it is just there, Scab 1.02. So this one is by the Yoked Girth Head. It's really easy to find. It's just at the back of the map here by the fallen tree, and what you're going to do is go underneath his head into the tunnel. You just got to watch yourself. Sometimes there's some orb weavers around here. Grab the science and Girthscape. Just here, right on the edge of this. So this next one's a bit tricky, and it is just here on the map. Pretty much, you've got to be exactly where I am to see it. So, and you'll come across a leaf in the water with the rock just there. And if you see just down there, there's a hole. We're going in that hole. Now it gets dark, so just follow it. The darkness, as you can see, you can see the path. It's just quite difficult to actually follow. And keep swimming. And eventually you will come to it just there. The Chubbs series. Swim around, you can keep going straight. You don't have to turn back. And that'll lead you into the 4-leaf clover as well. And now the only way back out though is to swim it. And it is on the plug by the bushes at the back. It used to be an easy plug because you could just run up the wire and then jump on the top. But you can't do that anymore. So what I've done is built from back here on the rake with the giant rock. I built out onto the decking and then ran across. So it's definitely the most time consuming one. And then we're just going to glide over. Make sure you save it before you do, otherwise it could go horribly wrong. Come on. It is quite difficult. You've got to get it just right. There we go. Now be careful when you're on here as well, because sometimes jumping at the wrong angle can sort of push you backwards. And then, there we go. The Cyber Strike. So this one is real difficult to actually get to. It is just up on the hedge bush. On the berry bushes at the back of the garden. And, well, you can see the juice box just there. I can't really move too far because I'll fall back down. You can see the juice box there. It is in a tree just above where the red cable is tied to it. So stand by the juice box, look up, you will see the cable going across a branch. Now what you need to do is pretty much work your way up the leaves. It took me about 10 minutes to do this. It's quite difficult, but it is doable. You can work your way up further down, but I just found it easier to do it straight from the point underneath it basically, because you can follow the wire back up and jump up that way. But the leaves were quicker. And that is Witchley. So for this one we are in the hedges at the back southeastern corner of the garden, and basically it's a pretty much straightforward path. You just need to come up onto the bushes by the field station and just work your way down the trees, well the branches, and eventually you will come to this on the right hand side. Now if you hit the frisbee you've gone too far, and obviously the frisbee's just up there. And just in here, come in here, and then it is just inside that bit there. So this next location is by the Flingman Flying Disc, which is in the bush region. Now you can get up onto the bush region by this field station here, and you just follow the paperclip and follow the bushes all the way around. There's pretty much one route which brings you to this location here. Now, once you've got to this location, you'll come across the frisbee. If you haven't got thread as well, ideal just to bring some, because then you can continue through the bushes. And we have the Supreme Scab schematic. Next up, we are at the Hedge Lab. Now, if you follow the last location, just keep following the bushes round, and once you've got the one at the flying disc, just keep following it, and eventually you will come to this zip line above the Hedge Lab. Now zip down. Once you are in this room, Follow it round. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And then jump on this zip line as well. And the next one is just here. It's just led just there. On top of the bush hedge lab. And what you're going to do is, so you're stood here, you can see the zip line there and that empty sort of random bit on its own. So you follow the pipe that leads down. Just keep following it all the way to the bottom. But make sure you're on top, don't be inside because it doesn't work if you're inside. And jump onto this log. Now follow this all the way up. Watch the leaf there. Keep going all the way to the end, and there we have Fright. The berry bush. Now you've got the hedge lab, which is just there. Now, what you can do is the first zip line you come across that leads you to the hedge lab, you can jump off and land on top of the hedge lab and then jump into these bushes. Or you can pretty much run through the lab and there is a way out onto the bushes there. But you will come to the location where I am here, which is pretty much the furthest part north of the hedge lab. And just follow this big tree trunk up. It's the one with all the leaves surrounding it. And you will see this bar here, which leads up to there. So once again, make sure you save it. Always save it. And then go up. And fall down like that. There we go. So this one's quite a tricky one to actually get into. So you've got to be careful when you're manoeuvring up towards it. You can use the leaves. Leaves are really helpful to jump on and get towards the top. You just got to be careful that you don't slip down like I did there. Also, when you're jumping up, be careful there's nothing on top of you or to the side of you, because if you jump up and hit something, it will fling you backwards. Then you get up to this bit here, and you've got 500 raw science, and the Scab Scheme is just on the table there. Scab version 2.11. It's an awesome view from up here as well. You can see the whole garden, which is really quite cool. Next up, we are on the bird bath, which is just in the southeast corner of the garden, just by the bushes. And on the top, there is Scab Scheme Hedgeberry. Just seen on the map, it is just here. And we go straight down. And just follow it until you see this little area. Then swing a right. And that'll take you underwater. Now, under here is really easy. It's pretty much the first thing you see. And there it is. The gunmetal scab. So for this next one, we are over by the Eastern Laser. Now, the difficult thing about this is you have to build your way up to it. Now, as you can see, I've built a stairway to heaven. It's quite hard. And then once you're up here, just jump over to this. And then the copper wire's there. Make sure you save it before you jump on that copper wire. Because now you've got to shimmy your way up this wire. If you don't get stuck on the bolt. Take it slowly. Obviously, save it again just to be safe. It's a long way down. It's going to be a fun jump off with a glider though. And keep going, keep going, keep going. All the way up. And then up onto this bolt here. And then onto this wire. And then onto the box. And there we have the Hyperblaster Scab. Next up, we are at the Tropicop Puncho, which is the juice box, pretty much center of the garden. And you have to climb on top of it. Now, the easy way to do that is just climbing up the grass. It's pretty simple, pretty quick. And it is just at the top here. Puncho. So next up we are inside the abandoned Anthill. This one's relatively simple to find, you just got to run straight. You can also get into it from the Oak Lab, but this one's the simplest way. Just make sure you've got a torch and a spear, because you will come into contact with a few soldier ants. And just pretty much follow it. You can't really go wrong here. It's quite simple, just follow it all the way down, and you'll run into 2, maybe 3 soldier ants. And 2 of them will be in here. Just jump down into the hole. So you've just come from that way there, run straight into the middle to this vine, and then, well, root. I've lost my bloody weight. There we go, and then go that way. So just run straight in and just keep following it. It's one path, you can't actually go anywhere else, so it just looks a bit confusing because there's loads of little bits dug out, and then there we go. There's the scab. Ta-da! Bugged. And then the Oak Lab is just through there as well, so you can come that way and drop down into here. Right, let's get on with the next one. So this one's a bit of a tricky one, and it is by the giant oak tree, and it's just on top of the lamp that's next to the oak tree. But it's a ball ache getting up. You have to build your way up. You can't actually get here without some sort of building work. What I've done is followed the twigs up to this leaf hanging here, and just built floors. I was going to build stairs going from that entrance, but stairs require more resources, so the floors just worked out well. If you place them in the leaf and just build sort of platforms up, and you can jump from one to the other. And there it is, right on top, the aerobics. Next up, we are just north of the oak tree, and you just got to jump in the water and climb up one of the roots there. It's a bit of a ball ache sometimes getting on, and there we go. We have the panfish scab scheme. For this one, we're up north again, and it is in the Calvo can. Really easy to find, just by the pond. It's pretty open, so you can't miss it. Jump straight in the can, and it is right at the back there. This isn't juice in the can, by the way. Don't drink it. And that one is Hot Dog Horror. So, next up, we are on top of the Frankenline little Game Boy type thing. And that is at the back northwestern corner of the garden. It is very easy to spot. You do have to build up to it, though. Don't fall down the gaps that you've left. If you start on these rocks, just a little bit further in, maybe 2 or 3 panels in, you've got just enough space to actually get on there and build the stairs up. So when you get up to the top, the scab is just there. Frankenline. Next up, we're on the western side of the map, and in this sort of pool here, you can see the drain. Swim in, swim down. The colour goes a bit funky, it goes like dark and then light, but just keep following the path and it'll bring you up in here with the scab scheme, sewage, and 500 more science. For this one, we are over by the picnic bench, and it's pretty funky. Just watch out for the big guys around here, and jump up on these rocks, jump across to that one, and then it's just in the gap down here. So for this one, we are at the cassette tape, which is right on the western side of the garden, and it's pretty easy to spot. It's right out in the open. It's the giant cassette just there, and it is just underneath it. That is Sad Stab.